How many people are here from startups today? 2 people, 10 people, 20 people? Salt! Yeah. Anyways, that joke did not work out. I'm really excited to introduce the next speaker because he's going to reveal something about succeeding in the startup world. So, without any ado, I'd like to introduce a friend of mine and a co-founder of Swipes, Kasper, the CEO of Swipes. Woo! We should turn it on.
Perfect. Thank you very much, guys. So, first of all, Kasper, how many of you guys know Swipes? That's better than last time. Perfect. So, I want to first go a little bit back in time because 5 months ago, I was standing there in the Swipes office. It was a sunny and nice day, and things were just great. We had over 500,000 users on our personal productivity app, and we had won countless awards, and it was just good. I even had term sheets laying on my desk for over $800,000, and that would secure another 2 years of scaling up and pushing our business. Pretty much the perfect dream for every startup and every founder. What could possibly go wrong? Pretty much everything. So I turned down those $800,000, and now with 10 people in the company, we have only 4 months left in the bank. We choose to completely change direction. And now you guys probably think, is this guy's completely fucking nuts? Or is there any good reason for us to make such a bold move in absolutely last moment? And to really make you understand that, I want to tell you a story earlier this year, my co-founder Jana and I were in Silicon Valley. So, this is Anelia. She's our US accountant. And the funny thing is we found her by, literally we needed an accountant in the US, so Jana went to Google, startup accountant US. And she went on Quora, and she was responding to a lot of questions there. So we thought, great, this is good. We totally used her. Now we've used her for 2 years and has been super happy about that. When we were there earlier this year, we met her for the first time in real life. And it turned out that she was also an accountant for a lot of Y Combinator companies, including one called Parse, who was sold a couple of years ago for $85 million to Facebook. And she really wanted to make an intro to the founder of Parse because she thought that he would be really interested in making an investment in us. So she made an intro to a guy called Tikan. That's this guy. And when he got that intro, he was so excited about meeting. The only thing was we were on the phone. It was 2 hours before a plane go back to Bulgaria. So Jana and I is just running with our suitcases into an Uber, driving all the way up to downtown San Francisco to meet at some fancy tea bar with Tikan. And we had the most amazing talk ever with him. He totally saw it. Guys, I can see where you're going. I see the vision. We're going to change the way it works. I just love it. Incredible. I love the team. He was even ready to invest. But we had to go back. So 45 minutes later, we were back with the suitcase and rushing down to San Francisco International Airport to rush out and get the plane back to BG in absolutely last moment. So this was really great. We got back. We were super hyped. We finally found that guy that believed and was just as convinced as us that we were just going to make this so huge. I started talking a lot with him on Skype, and we had a lot of discussion, and one day he got hit with this one. It's like, yeah, guys, it's just so amazing. You can ship. It's really rare. I just love it. The only problem is your market is just not big enough. Personal productivity is not a real market. I cannot invest in that. Ouch. That's never funny. We really thought we had found that right guy. And we had a lot of chats around it. He said, he's been in Y Combinator with 2 companies, and he said that 50% of all companies that come out of Y Combinator is failing because they end up in no market land. Not because their team is not great, not because they don't have an amazing product, because there are simply not enough customers when they get out that want to buy their solution. So that made us thinking. We went back to start thinking on our own vision. What is it that we really started with when we made this company? And we had always had this belief that first we're going to solve personal productivity. It's a small little market. Then we're going to make it into bigger enterprises, and one day we will make it super huge. The only challenge is that going for a small market first and then to a big one potentially later is a really bad strategy. So we looked at companies like Evernote and Dropbox. These companies that has taken like from free, getting mass adoption, then they convert a lot to premium, and then later, now they've all realized that the money for them is really in enterprises and in B2B sales. So we are looking at them and see that they have so much struggling with making that switch so late in the game. So with all that in mind, we're thinking like, you know what? Fuck it. We would rather take a big bet on a big market, risk it all, than we want to play it safe and die slow. So we turned down those $800,000. We pretty much risked it all with 4 months in the bank, and we turned direction into this new market of teamwork. So we were back at square one. Like I said, we didn't have much time left, and we had this whole new direction. Was I scared that there was just, a slightly little chance that this might not work out? Yeah, I was pooping my pants like crazy. But the thing is, like this guy, if you want to become successful, you just need to have those balls and those cojones to make the hard calls. So with that, the whole team switched direction, and we were sitting now, we have 4 months left. What are we going to do? Well, let's use 1 month. We hacked, we iterated, we made something work on what is this new enterprise product going to look like. And then I ordered a flight ticket one way to Silicon Valley with the goal, I'm not going to come back before I raise money. My little brother usually always says, either I'll take the chance, I'll get home with the ambulance. That's not really a thing. But when you're raising money, one of the biggest myths that you will find is this thing called FOMO, or spelled out fear of missing out. We wanted to create that thing, but how can we, what is that? Well, in general, it's just that you want your deal to seem so hot that investors is starting to throw money at you like a batka in chauga, and he's so afraid that other investors is going to take that deal because you might be the next Mark Zuckerberg. That's all great, but how the heck do you create that? Because we ourselves had, in our previous product, we had term sheets, we had traction we could prove, we had everything, it was super awesome, but now we were back again at zero. We had nothing. We had no proof whatsoever to say that, to validate that what we said was true. So how do you create FOMO, or this fear of missing out, when in reality, there isn't really much to miss out on yet? Let's not fool each other, right? So, FOMO comes usually from a lot of term sheets. Like if you have a lot of term sheets, investors are literally going to miss out because there are others that give you deals. But how do you get the very first one? How do you get the first lemming to start walking so all the others are going to follow? This is always the hardest. And I came up with a concept that I call stacked progress. And this will help you make your business seem like a moving train going towards the undeniable destination of success. The concept is pretty simple. You make a lot of small things happen. So you make a lot of small things all the time, a lot of results. Then you send those results to investors, but you never ask for a decision. Okay, so an example here, FOMO is not a slide, right? That's the first thing if we want to go into this. I thought all the time that if I want to go create FOMO, I go onto into my presentation, I put a slide, why is now the right time? Then I jump in, I pitch an investor, give him 3 points, like you should invest now. Then I go out, and guess what? It's not like I've created FOMO. He will forget who the heck I was, right? So we go out and we wait for this guy to get back. We start getting like, yeah, is he gonna get back? Then we start pushing him, and we start saying, hey, do you want to invest? And he get an email with someone that's pushing him for like, no, I don't want. I didn't even remember who the heck you were. That's not how you create FOMO. So I talked about stack progress. I got it mixed up. That's why I got a little confused. But yeah, you basically want to make those small incremental things all the time and ship them off so that it seems like your train is just moving. So an example of that, but don't push for a decision. Yes, I went to TCon. We were back in the valley. Now I told TCon, hey TCon, we're back. We've changed direction. This is super awesome. I want you to invest today. Give us $50,000. In 3 months, we can build it. We can ship it. And then we'll see if this thing is going to work out. And he was like, yeah, not really. Why? It's like he was very resistant, right? It's like, but I really want to see, is there something, is there, what can we get some kind of validation first? And then we went back and we were like, well, we don't want to push the guy because we're clearly just pushing for him to say no. So let's just impress the guy. We said 3 months. So I went back and said, guys, let's ship it in 4 days. And they were just looking like, what? But what we really did was we took out all functionality. We just said we used 2 days of just removing everything to make a half shitty working version. We make the value proposition seem super legit. We put it on Product Hunt, and we did everything we could to push and measure how many conversions do we get, are people interested in the value proposition. And in the end, it actually worked out pretty well. We converted super well. We got even featured on the newsletter, and that was pretty nice. And then, instead of asking people, writing them, hey, do you want to invest? We just send an email to all these investors that we've talked with. So, hey, yeah, you know what? I know I said 3 months. We just did something crazy. We shipped it in 2 days. We measured this and this conversion. We converted 11%, have 1,000 people coming. Great, great, great. Now the next experiment is going to roll. And guess what? Within 1 hour, I got an SMS from Tikon. Hey, Kasper, I really want to invest $50,000. It's like, what? So it's so little that it takes for you to even though that we actually didn't have proof much more than just we know people were interested, that feeling of progress, of things is just happening, is doing so much. You cannot create it, go into a presentation and go in waiting mode. You need to all the time have it seem that something is happening. And it doesn't really matter what it is, but they just need to seem that your train is leaving. So, another example, don't send all at once. Just one day we had 3 investors saying yes at the same day. And we were like, damn it, we could send out, which is not, of course, not what you're saying, but you're thinking, well, now we can send out an email saying, yeah, we just got 3 new investors, and then they won't hear from us from 3 more weeks. Instead, what we did was we said, guys, we just got a new investor. We waited 1 week. Guys, we just got another investor. And we waited the last week. We just got 1 more. Why would we send it all at once? Why? When we can make it seem that there is always something happen. So think of it as a thing. You just always need to have numbers happening. It could be conversion rates. It could be that you improve something. But don't tell it all in a meeting with an investor when you're saying, yeah, we've done this. The only thing he remembers is they did something, right? So save it for later. Make it for follow-up. Don't ask him for a decision. So the other thing that's really good to create FOMO is that you don't really want to go straight to an investor. I've always thought that, I want to build up relationships, I want to get really to know all these investors, and then I'm going to ask them for money. Reality is, investors is like hot girls in bars. They're just swarmed around with guys, and it's really, really hard to get their attention. So we're using a different strategy now. We have challenges saying, we want to get the investor to ask us, what the heck is Swipes all about? Now I hear so much about you, without ever writing them. And that's pretty challenging, but I'll give you an example of how we actually did this. So now we have this new direction of enterprises. We are going towards, we changed from a business to consumer to a business to business. And that means we came into a place where we didn't have a lot of experience. So to compensate for that, we're trying to find all the right partners, all the right investors, of course, so that we can get covered on that end. And because of that, we really wanted to get into the Alchemist Accelerator in the Valley. And it's the most laser-focused accelerator on enterprise. It's run by the founder of Yammer. It's backed by VCs like Kostler, DFJ, Tim Draper, and so on. Super serious, super legit. And we were we didn't want to go to them and just say, Alchemist, look at us, like everyone else. So instead, we just started meeting all the startups that has been in Alchemist. We talked with around 5 different startups. We convinced them that we're super badass. And then we got them to send an email to Alchemist saying, hey, Alchemist, you should really check out the Swipe team. These guys are dope. They would fit totally into your program. And guess what? Then Alchemist reached out to us, asking us, can you please make an application? We really want to have an interview with you guys. And we ended up getting into Alchemist. Pretty awesome. So, bottom line, you never go straight to an investor. Use much more time. Go through his portfolio company. Talk with founders. Find out who he trusts. Convince them that you're badass. And get people to talk about you behind your back to them. It's a really, really, really powerful way to create that moving train. So, if you do all this right, you can create FOMO. It works. And I guarantee you it works. At some point, the ball just started rolling, and everyone wants to invest. We had at some point it was like all of these middlemen that we've used, all of the people we got to refer us came to us and saying, okay, I don't know what the heck it is I'm missing out on, but I don't have really a lot of money. Can I please invest a little bit? Because it seems like this is just crazy. Even our accountant, Anelia, also got this feeling, and she invested into the deal as well. All because they were just feeling that they were missing out on this opportunity. We even got a term sheet for $1 million. $1 million. We didn't even know what to use that money for. We had to turn it down because we couldn't spend all that money. So, and let me just remind you, we didn't have any traction. We didn't have any proof of anything. And that's the power of FOMO. And I really hope you can take this and take it out and raise money successfully early stage. Thank you very much.